been talking about what Paul gives as an evidence of being a servant of God, and it's not a pretty picture. It's all kinds of beatings, it's whippings, it's all kinds of things, and we're going to continue with that list that the Apostle Paul gives here in 2 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, and we're going to pick up with verse number 26, and this is what it says. It says, I have been on frequent journeys. I've been on many, many journeys, the Apostle Paul says. Frequent means many, many, many travels. How many of you know that the Apostle Paul has traveled all over the known world at that time? He's traveled all over the area we would call Turkey now, which would be Asia Minor, or part of Asia Minor. He has traveled all over. And so he says, I've been on frequent journeys. I've been on many, many, many journeys. And then the Apostle Paul goes on and he continues this list, and he says, I've been in dangers from rivers. What, flood waters, probably. But he says, I've been in dangers, and he lists several things here that he was in danger of. He says, I've been in danger of rivers. I've been in danger of robbers. How many of you have ever been in danger of robbers? I've been there, don't like it. But in danger. Not in nice, not in calmness, but in danger. You see, one of the things that we need to realize is that when you really become a servant of God, you may be putting yourself in a place of danger. I remember for myself, I've been in countries where it was against the law to preach the gospel. What was I doing there? Sightseeing? No. I was there preaching the gospel. Been in dangers. The Apostle Paul says, I've been in dangers in rivers. I've been in danger with robbers. I've been in danger with my own countrymen. The word countrymen here actually means my offspring. Again, I think he's talking about the Jewish people. How many of you realize it was the Jewish people, the Judaizers, that were trying to kill the Apostle Paul for at least the first part of his ministry? They would follow him wherever he went, and they would bring all kinds of accusations against him. And so he says, I've been in danger of my countrymen, my own offspring. And then he says, and I've been in danger of the Gentiles. In other words, I've been in danger many times, in danger. And then he goes on and he continues, dangers in the city. Dangers in the city, dangers in the wilderness. He said, you know what? In the city I was in danger. Out in the wilderness, out on the farm, in the country, he said, I was in danger. Dangers at sea. Dangers among false brethren. And then he says this in verse number 27. He says, I've been in labor and in hardship. I've been in labor. The word labor there means to work to the point of grief. It's the same word that we talked about, I believe, yesterday. The Greek word is kopos. And it means working to the point where you're just at grief in your working. You are working extremely hard. And then he says, I've been in labors. I've been in labor and in hardship. The word hardship means toil, it means travail, it means wearisome labor. And then the Apostle Paul goes on and he says, through many sleepless nights, I've worked so much as a servant of Christ that I have lost sleep, many sleepless nights, in hunger and in thirst. The word hunger actually means in famine, in not having enough to eat. Not just hungry because it's getting time for lunch, but hungry not having the food to eat, not having the water to drink. He said, I've been in hunger and in thirst, often without food, in cold and in exposure. In cold. The Apostle Paul knew what it was like to serve the Lord. He knew what it was like to live a life not of pleasure, not of comfort, but that in serving the Lord, it's not always going to be nice. And then he moves on to verse number 28, and he says something that's just amazing. He says, apart from such external things, he said, these things are external. These things are on the outside. But he says, apart from those external things, and he's continuing on, and he says this statement, there is the daily pressure on me of the concern for all the churches. The Apostle Paul not only experienced external hardship, but he also experienced something on the inside. He experienced a daily pressure. Now notice the Greek word for daily here, and it's actually 3 different Greek words, but it means something coming down upon me. It's actually it starts with the Greek word ho, which is a word translated as thus. So it means these are things that are a noun. And he says, this thing is coming down on me. And the word, the next word means daily. In other words, every day something is coming down on me. It's the pressure. And what does he say? The daily pressures on me. What was coming down on me? The pressure. And the word pressure means something that's rising up, something that's coming at you. And what does he say? It's the pressure on me of concern for the churches. What's Paul saying? He's saying, you know what? I not only have the outside external things that are coming at me, but I have something coming at me on the inside. And it's this pressure, and the pressure is the concern for the churches, for all the churches, not just a few of the churches, not just for the Corinthian church, but for all of the churches. Let me say something to you. If your pastor is doing what he's supposed to be doing, if those that are in leadership, the fivefold leadership, are doing what they're supposed to be doing, they are feeling a great deal of pressure for you. Let me say this to you. You know what? One of the best things that you can do for your pastor is to behave, to serve the Lord, and to serve the Lord with gladness. But please be aware of the pressure. I mean, pastors are leaving the ministry in the droves, and the reason why is they can't handle the pressure anymore. It's pressure that leads many pastors to immorality, to stealing, to all kinds of sinful things. Understand, the Apostle Paul says, I've been under pressure for the churches. Thank you for watching. Join us again next week as we continue our study in the book of 2 Corinthians.